Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. If you're able to join me during this live, I appreciate it very much. If you are Team Replay, welcome Team Replay. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. This lovely lady right above me is Ashley Braxton. I'm probably going to change that, but I just want you to see the face of, in my opinion, the person by telling her own story, getting it out there. Tamar offering her a platform, I think what started all this drama and all this mess. Again, that is Ashley Braxton right above me. I have another backdrop that is the Braxtons. That puts me above Toni and Towanda. Let me see what I can do about that. So please like, share, and subscribe. I thank you so much for watching. And let me see if there's another better layout. I'll do that. Not really. Let's see. I'll just change it around. I'll keep switching it around. But right now, this is the Braxtons. This is season 2, episode 4. Where did we go wrong? I can't even begin to tell you where they went wrong. This is a trip, y'all. This was a very chaotic episode, but thankfully, 4 episodes in, we get what leads us to this scene. They've been showing us this scene on and off. So thankfully, we have finally gotten there with this episode. Okay, thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Go ahead and click the like button if you're here. I appreciate that. If I can be heard clearly and you're in the chat, please place a 1 in the chat. For some reason, this location, I've started to, when I watch the videos back, sometimes the sound isn't great, so I apologize for that. If I need to change locations, I will actually do that because I do want to be clear. So let me apologize in advance. But as you come in the chat, if you can hear me, just place a 1 in the chat, and I'll thank you for that. Okay, so this is the Braxtons. This is season 2, episode 4. Where do we go wrong? So we start out, we're at the same dinner scene that we've been on for the past 4 weeks. We've been getting little clips of it. They've been online. They preview every episode. We start out with the legend, Toni Braxton. Toni shaking the table. She's establishing her weight class. She's letting her little sister Tamar know, you effing with a heavyweight. Tamar knows this, Toni, but it's okay to remind people when they're playing with you. She says she's a heavyweight. Toni gets in the confessional, and Toni is Toni Braxton in the confessionals. She says, I thought that the sisters were getting together to discuss mommy, and now I feel like Tamar has brought all of us together to attack us. Not that I'm being insensitive, but I will not be accused of what I didn't do. What Toni is talking about, she is upset that Tamar has given their niece Ashley a platform, which was Tamar's YouTube channel, which has a pretty large following, to discuss Ashley's. Ashley says that she was abused as far as she had inappropriate texts sent to her at the age of 16 from one of the sisters' husbands. Now, there's speculation as to who the husband was. Most people believe it was Gabe. Trina has even alluded to it. She's saying the person is not here to defend himself. I think someone had responded to a post, whether or not it was Gabe, and actually liked the post. And then even from the Braxton Family Values show, where we met these ladies again, we've been familiar with them over the decades, but we met them again on their reality show. Gabe was shown being inappropriate on and off camera, and Trina was constantly remarrying him at least 3 times. So Tamar is asking the sisters who sent the cease and desist to her house, who gave this ninja her address, the ninja being their family attorney. Towanda is sitting there gaslighting. Towanda is letting us know that I don't even know where you live. And Tamar said, I know where you live because I paid the down payment. So Towanda is being very passive aggressive and sarcastic, saying, thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Then we get a confessional with Towanda. Tawanda's makeup is always beautifully done. I can't take that away. But this big yellow flower, I don't know. She's saying that Tamar volunteered She wanted to help me with the down payment as sisters do for each other. And she gave her, I am Damo. Hello. Thank you for coming in and speaking. Thank you for putting the one that you can hear me. Thank you. That's one of my moderators. She says that Tamar put down the Towanda admits to Tamar putting down $35,000 down payment. Tamar is saying it was $50,000. Tawanda's saying that she has receipts. Y'all, what they're referring to is gift money. Gift money does not have to be repaid back. In some circumstances, it's not even legal to pay it back, because what the bank is doing, if you're being financed, you're saying, this is money that I have toward the down payment. It's not going to cause me a hardship. I don't have to pay it back. But a lot of people, and it sounds like Towanda did this, promised Tamar that she would pay her back. She only had to show the money in her account. So y'all don't be admitting to mortgage fraud on TV. Don't do that. Because I think that Tawanda's covered herself where she doesn't have to pay Tamar back. Tamar even said, then I find out you listed me as a creditor. So Tamar, you given a lot of information. Towanda may have committed mortgage fraud in addition to bankruptcy fraud, allegedly. And in my opinion, let me put up a banner for that. Everything said on my video is alleged. It's my own personal opinion. There's a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use. This is not if I decide to share any clips or anything like that, which may come later. So this is for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. So Towanda, we're going to see what's going on with Towanda. Again, my moderator came in, spoke to everyone. Thank you so much. So Tamar is still upset about someone giving the address to the attorney and delivering the cease and desist to her. Trina's playing stupid. Someone came to your house, and Tamar said, you see how she do? Because Trina does like to play stupid. Trina, I think Trina's smarter than that. And I saw commentary from the attorney on Facebook claiming that, yes, he did send the cease and desist or have it delivered. None of the sisters directed him to do that. So was it Michael? That's the brother. That is Ashley's father. And that is also the person who Ashley says that he was abusive to her. Well, she didn't. I don't think she said the mother. I know she said the stepmother and Michael used to fight, physically fight in front of the children. They had their own children together. And then her deceased sister, Lauren, and Ashley are sisters. That's the last time Ashley was in the U.S. to attend Lauren's funeral. So this is all over the place, y'all, because honestly, the Braxtons are all over the place. And let me see. I want to have another layout that will show everyone. That doesn't show everyone. That's better. Okay. I may come back up in a minute. So Tamar saying she knows where Towanda lived because she put the down payment down. Towanda saying, thank you so much. Tamar said, now that you have had this accident, can I have my money back? Y'all, that was a mess. That hit Towanda where she lived. Towanda immediately starts being aggressive and talking crazy. And Tamar is, now she's kind of antagonizing Towanda. And Towanda is saying, that's what sisters do for each other. Okay, let me see. Oh, Tamar actually starts saying there is a new phone. She has a new phone because she has a credit card that was being used on that phone. Towanda was using the bill to pay her own credit card, y'all. She said Towanda was using the bill to pay her own credit card for 4 years. It was a family plan with 6 people on it. So that's a trip. So Towanda is not going to beat these fraud allegations, y'all. Remember, she came out as the responsible one during the very first season of Braxton Family Values. And she was also on a show with Iyanla Van Zandt in a house full of women being coached to make different changes in their life. And she was always billed as the responsible one. So Towanda gets very aggressive in the confessional. She said, you don't want to go blow to blow with me because I know where the bodies are buried. Towanda finally throws out there, what do you steal? And Tamar says, I don't steal anything. And Towanda said, you stole Toni's man. And Tamar said, what man? What man? They were bleeping out a name. I don't know who it was. She said her ex, you slept with them a few times. So Tawanda's doing something very nasty and sinister. She's insinuating that Tamar is sleeping with Toni's ex or exes or even present boyfriends. We know Tamar was in the news, like going viral, wiping sweat off a Birdman during his recent, they had a versus between No Limit and Cash Money. I didn't watch that yet. I just saw clips. So Towanda is saying, oh, when they were talking about the credit card bill, I was watching and listening closely to that. Toni says, I remember when you said that. She's telling Tamar, because now Toni has told us in the past, for years, the only two sisters were herself and Tamar that financially take care of mommy, Mrs. Braxton. So Toni said, I remember when you said that. Towanda says, does that make it true? Tamar says, yes. Towanda is still claiming this is what family does to help each other. So she came back with this, Tamar steals, and then that set it off. Tamar jumps up. They start arguing back and forth with each other. Towanda in a confessional says, I'm not going to be your verbal punching bag. I can keep these secrets, but I will not allow you to continue to say things about me. So now she's playing in doubts. Tamar is now unhinged. She said, he told me that he F you. So Towanda saying, that's a lie. That's a lie. I didn't believe her, y'all. If this is true about Tamar, I believe it's true of Towanda as well. Towanda seems like that type, married or not. She just does. Because she's known Sean for years, since she was married to Andre, when Andre and Towanda were living in Atlanta. And why would Tamar have to put down a down payment when you're married? And then now you've had this long-term boyfriend, Sean, and he's your fiance. What's Sean doing for his living? So then Ori, who is the showrunner, the producer, we know he is back and forth between the sisters, telling them a lot of different things. He's talking off camera. He's broken the fourth wall, saying, don't go there. Don't go there. Trina's sitting there looking very smug. I think Trina knew. Trina kind of had the same, she's on my right. She has the same look that she has. She's looking very smug. Tamar says, I swear to God, because Towanda keeps calling her a liar. And Toni's telling all of them, shut up. We're sisters. We don't do this. Toni's literally leaned back in her chair by now. She looked a little ill at this point, and she was really upset. They're not listening to her. Usually Toni can play that big sis card and they'll listen. Nobody's listening at this point. Tamar saying, I swear to God, Towanda, you lying. Trina saying she's lying. I swear to God. And Tamar harmonizes. I swear. She give this big Tamar harmonization. It was crazy. They're going back and forth. Towanda says, I don't argue with sick people. This was particularly low. Tamar has shared with everyone that she has been diagnosed with depression and anxiety and that she's on medication. Toni gives a confessional saying, Tamar has shared her mental issues before. I was very proud of her for doing that. But it's someone's choice if they want their mental issues to be brought up. In this case, Tamar has brought them up as well. That's what Toni is saying. I found that really sinister. There's no shame in mental issues. Just the same if you got a broken arm. Towanda, you may or may not have jumped in front of that lady's car, allegedly, and broke your wrist and got a hickey on your nose and all these scars and everything to help you pay for this wedding. But we're not going to make fun of that. We're not going to begrudge Towanda going to the hospital. We feel like she should go. So if Tamar has mental things going on, she absolutely should go. At some point, Tamar is saying she takes 20 mils of Lexapro, and a lot of people could use it. You can. She was in Toni's face a lot. I don't recommend that. I didn't like that, Tamar. She's saying that Toni could use it. Towanda should. And then Tamar starts saying they didn't have her back. This triggers Toni because Toni and Tamar have been close through the years. I hated to see that too. And Toni's saying, who? Toni Braxton didn't have your back? You know, Toni goes into third person as well. So she's saying, Toni Braxton didn't have your back? Toni Braxton didn't have your back? As much as I pay publicists, and then Towanda's over there seated but signifying, woo, woo, woo. She's glad the attention's not on her now. And at the same time, she can't stand that the attention's not on her now. So she's kind of signifying, whoop, whoop. And Tamar saying, I never used one of your publicists. So we get a confessional from Toni. Toni has to clear up the fact that no, Tamar hasn't officially used her publicist, but she uses her publicist. Toni needs her publicist to clear up a lot of things that Tamar does. And she says, Tamar is comfortable getting infamous rather than just famous. That might be true of the whole family, I think. So Tamar is still yelling. They're all upset with her because she allowed Ashley to have a platform. Toni Braxton agreed to it, and now Toni is upset. Welcome in, Kiwan JTV. Thank you so much. She's a fellow content creator. And if you are not over there, please go over there. She had a great live today on boundaries. Watch that, like it, and apply it if you see fit. It's really great. Tamar is yelling about Ashley using the platform. Toni saying that that's not true. Then Toni has another confessional where she contradicts herself. And just because I'm correcting Toni and just saying what I see, I still feel she's legend. I had tickets already to see her next year with New Edition and Boys to Men. But Toni is saying, Tamar and I had a conversation about this, and I'm sorry if Tamar misunderstood about her coming on the Braxtons. Y'all, this was crazy. So did y'all want Ashley to come on there or not? Why send the cease and desist? Tamar is still stressing the cease and desist. She has the yellow envelope. She's shaking them in the air. This attorney has delivered the cease and desist. And I didn't even get to say anything yet. We didn't even speak on it yet. So they didn't even film the episodes. They since have. And I watched it. It was pretty good. I don't know Taz, she has someone named Taz. I don't know what her counseling credentials are, but she was there while Ashley was there, as well as James Wright Chanel. I don't know of him having any type credentials other than reviewing Patty's Pies and getting punched in the mouth by Krishan. I don't know, but they did film that. Ashley seemed to have gotten a lot of peace from it. We saw Tamar apologize to her. Ashley is back in Barcelona, thank goodness, and I feel like she came out a lot better than these sisters. Towanda is sitting over there, honey. Butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. That's what I don't like about Towanda. Towanda throws a lot of rocks and hide her hands because now Toni and Tamar are arguing. Now, remember, this started out about the cease and desist. We get another confessional with Tamar. Tamar is upset. She says, they're all mad because I gave Ashley this platform. They put the cease and desist on me. They did not even want us to speak of it. And we're supposed to talk about everything else, which bothered me last week. Remember, we talked about them talking about oysters and this and that, rather than what the underlying issue is, which is Ashley and the abuse that she may have suffered within the family, allegedly, and in my opinion. So, y'all, this is crazy. I've never seen Tamar get that mad. She was jumping up, flipping all over the place. And then Towanda actually said as well, I've never seen Toni Braxton get this mad. So at one point when Tamar and Toni are getting into it with something that Towanda started with the exes, Trina feels like she needs to get between Toni and Tamar, even though Toni's the one getting ready to get physical. She already said she's a heavyweight. She's jumped up. Trina gives a confessional. This is like a Rottweiler against a Yorkie, and I have to get in the middle. So Trina gets in the middle. Something happens where Tamar might have twisted her wig a little bit or shifted it. I don't think she tried to pull it off. She might have just shifted it, as Sheree did with Kim that time. And then somebody got kicked. I think they're saying Tamar kicked Trina. But Tamar saying, you put your hands on me and I kicked you. I saw Toni push Trina a couple of times. And then Towanda gets in the middle and she's trying to put her hands on Toni Braxton, kind of keep things from going crazy. Tamar's off the hinges. They had so much of a back and forth. I watched it about 3 times, just that scene. But I couldn't really tell what was going. Something is going on. Tamar's still yelling up, screaming, standing up, don't put your hands on me. And Toni is saying she's leaving. Toni gets in a confessional and says there's Toni Braxton and then there's Toni Michelle. We don't know Toni Michelle. I'd like to meet Toni Michelle. She said, I'm not saying Toni Michelle is hood, but she's not Toni Braxton. So y'all, this is crazy. Mama 59 Works came in. She's the moderator. She speaks. Hey, Sandra P. in chat. I was laughing and sad at the same time. I was too, Mama 59 Works. This is one of my sisters, and we We don't do that. We walk away before that happens. This is too much. So Tony's saying that they're not ghetto. Toni, we can't tell. We can't tell at all. And they used to put this on Tracy because Tracy used to always check them if she needed to, but they try to have her as the ghetto one when all of them will do the same. So they're still doing all this arguing. Tamar says she's leaving. No, Toni told Tamar, you need to leave. Then Toni said, I'm leaving because I don't do this. I'm getting to a place where I can't control myself, and I like to be able to control myself. I feel like Toni left. Tamar is mocking them. Yes, y'all are so jealous of me. You need to get like me. She displays herself, her new body. She prances out of the thing. Before Toni left, Towanda gets right in Toni's face and says, we need to call the police. Call the cops on her. File charges against her. Towanda, why don't we file fraud charges against you from all this stuff you've been doing over the years? Y'all, I found that really sinister and disgusting. Toni says, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm leaving. So Toni Braxton, you still got sense. You were still calm. That was disgusting, y'all. What do y'all think about Towanda doing that? Kiwana saying, Toni says she's not ghetto and she married Birdman, LOL. Hello, thank you. Her actions, they don't align with what she claims she is. She's still legend. She still love could have brought you home and all that. But I think Toni Michelle reveals herself a lot more than Toni Braxton knows. So I don't know. They're saying Tamar got these issues, but Toni got a couple personalities too. I love all of them, but don't deny the existence of them. They're there. Mom 59 Works said, Ghettoville is what I saw. Tamar's just loud. She is just loud. And I feel like the way Tamar expresses herself turns a lot of people off. But from what I saw with Towanda, when Towanda was coldly sitting there, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, you basically stole this girl's money. She put gift money toward your mortgage, and then you didn't pay her back. You knew you didn't have to pay her back. Listed it in a bankruptcy. And now you got a family plan of 6 for 4 years. Y'all, that's like $20-something thousand. This is crazy. So to me, Towanda's still the villain, even though a lot of people used to make it out to be Tamar. It's not. The next scene, I'll have to tell you, the least favorite thing that happened was when Towanda tried to get Toni to call the police. Toni left. So now they got this whole stupid thing going on about who started it. I feel like Tamar got loud first, but Towanda was doing a lot of stirring the pot from behind the scenes. Yeah, I see it too. Kiwan JTV says Towanda was wrong. I feel that she was as well. 59 Works, Towanda made me so mad too. Me too. I don't like the way she conducts herself. So then we get another scene of Towanda in this stupid Brigerton themed shower. I could care less about this, y'all. I'm only going to speak on it as relation to, we see a conversation between her and Trina. And Trina is saying, we don't do this. We're sisters. We're not ghetto. And Toni is a legend. They don't want Toni displayed in that light, even though she's the one. We started out with her sitting there saying she's a heavyweight and she'll do this and she'll do that. So she is really the one that started it and jumped up. And then, of course, Tamar is going to meet her there and even further. So we see the theme. We see Towanda in the lavender. I like the skirt. The skirt was really pretty. The chocolate top, the color was beautiful, but I have since saw the wedding dress. I didn't love it. It looked like, to me, undergarments, as opposed to having that be the top of your wedding dress. So she's saying she doesn't want to be around the whole sisters as a whole anymore, as far as Tamar. And she said something about she's scared or she doesn't feel comfortable. And Trina's claiming that they don't do that, even though we very clearly saw them do it. Oh, also there was I forgot to mention at the end, Towanda's still sitting at the table, and Tamar swears, I swear on your children. And Towanda says, you're not going to curse my children. This lady is so disingenuous. She will lie in front of your face. Nobody cursed these children. Tamar, you don't be swearing to other people's children, no. I'm not a parent. Parents, how do y'all feel about that? I didn't like that at all, but I didn't like what Towanda tried to make it into. Don't curse. She didn't curse your children. So this silly Brigerton themed shower, of course, Trina is the only sister that is there. Tamar, I don't know if Tamar wants to film with them anymore. We'll see that later in a conversation with her and Ori. Towanda has invited these 28 ladies of honor. So all these random women have come in to take the place of her sisters. Towanda manipulates the audience by mentioning Tracy. She misses Tracy so much. She knows that Tracy would be there. Now, Tracy was calling Towanda a snake to her face. And I remember those scenes vividly. I found a clip. I hope I can find it again. Not Tamar, but Tracy. Tracy got directly in Tawanda's face and called that lady a snake. So I don't know why she knows Tracy would be there. She called Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton said that she is preparing for her Miami show. This is Jazz in the Gardens. I've been to a few of those. I didn't go to this one with Toni Braxton. I think Babyface was there too. But it is a little town right outside Miami. And it's Miami Gardens. And the mayor throws this huge event called Jazz in the Gardens. They've had Fantasia. They've had any big name act they've had. Maxwell, they've had New Edition, of course, which was one of the ones we went to. So Tawanda's kind of begging, Toni, are you coming to the Brigerton themed shower? Toni said, I'd love to make it, but I have Jazz in the Gardens. Thankfully, we get a scene of Toni. She is with Dr. Millsap, who's a musical director. She's preparing for her show at Jazz in the Gardens. Toni finds out, y'all, as we found out, we lost Angie Stone. That was earlier this year. Terrible van accident. We found out something I didn't know. Toni shares the musical director, Dr. Millsap, with Angie Stone and, y'all, a lot of the backup singers. Now, we know in this accident, Angie Stone lost her life, but a lot of the backup singers, thank God, were bruised up, but no one else lost their life. So Toni is telling Dr. Millsap, let them know I love them. She's shaken to her core, but she says, don't worry about my show. Just take as much time as they want. So, y'all, this was terrible. This was really sad. So Toni's setting up. She's in a confessional telling us she's still trying to figure out what happened, but she had to get on a plane, come down there to prepare for this. And she says she don't want to think about what transpired, but none of the sisters are going to. Oh, these are my own notes. She said she doesn't want to think about what transpired because she's got to get ready for Miami Gardens. And then my note is none of the sisters will hold a permanent grudge against Toni Braxton. Now, that is true. Thank you so much, Kiwan JTV. Like the video, please. Please like the video. That does keep me in the algorithm. I appreciate that. So Toni's working. What I noticed also, she mentioned Angie Stone. She was dear friends with Angie Stone. Again, same. I think Angie was a little bit older, but Toni and I were right there, Generation X. So that whole group was really close to each other. D'Angelo, Angie Stone, Toni Braxton, all the same names that you see, Mariah Carey, certain ones. So they all know each other. They're almost like musical family, especially with her sharing backup singers in a musical direction. So when Toni is talking about it, she starts to get emotional. And then here's what was strange. She says, okay, I can't do this now. And you see her turn it off like, okay, what are we talking about now? Now, Toni, that is not good. They make fun of Tamar for going over the top with her emotions. But to me, that shutting down that Toni does and that Towanda does, Towanda was downright cold at that table. And if your little sister is jumping up and doing all of this stuff, whether she's right or wrong, or you misunderstand each other, I just didn't like what I saw. I didn't like the gaslighting. I didn't like any of that. All of them need help. And Ayala couldn't fix their life. They even had TD Jakes. No commentary on that, but they couldn't work with him either. I don't know. A lot of this maybe should take place off camera. Even though it's interesting, it's a lesson. It's something that we can all learn something from. But I don't know. I don't like what Ori's doing either. That's the showrunner, the producer. He's doing a lot of dirt behind the scenes. And with how sensitive their relationship is among the four of them, Tracy's no longer there to be kind of the truth teller and the middle of the road person. So I don't know. They could lose each other forever with this funky show, y'all. It's kind of hard. It's very hard. So Mama 59 Works says Towanda got me on my nerves when she held the phone for the bridal party drama. Then she mentioned the sis that passed. Yes, here she go, bringing up Tracy again. She's using Tracy because Tracy and Towanda used to get into it. That doesn't mean they didn't love each other, but Tracy saw Towanda for exactly who she was. And a lot of the audience is seeing it now, and that has Towanda really upset. I think Tamar's been vindicated in a lot because we see Tamar go off the handle and go crazy and all this kind of stuff, but We see what's going on. So I put the ladies of honor. For some reason, they come in twerking, and then just wrote a note. Don't even review the rest of the scene. It's ridiculous. So that's crazy. So we had the Toni scene with the Miami Jazz and the Gardens. We get Tamar, y'all. She's put together an extended play CD, which is going to have 4 or 5 songs on it. I've already watched the visuals. If you have not watched it, y'all, it is well worth watching. It's called Heartbreak Resurrected or something like that. I had the name in here. But it's a video. It's about 45 minutes in length. It is with herself. Mendices is in there. He plays one of the love interests. He's her boyfriend. The theme is she goes back to an ex. She starts cheating on Mendices with the ex. So there's all this different stuff going on. Mama Evelyn's in there. We get an appearance from Vince. Laurel, the lady that has the radio show. It's worth watching. She put it on there Halloween. So that was really great marketing for Tamar. It's on YouTube, on Tamar's YouTube channel. And she's already had like 140,000 views. So Tamar is a marketing specialist. I think she's not wrong when she calls out Towanda for being jealous of her. I feel like Towanda is. I don't know that Trina is, but I really feel like Towanda has a strong jealousy and dislike for Tamar. Because Tamar is the youngest sister, and I think Towanda feels like she should have a lot more of that success. Okay, so, we see Tamar. Her little scene was a little bit silly. They're doing a music video. The video's being directed. She has a scene in a sports car. We know Tamar's tall and curvy, and she keeps having a nip slip. Tamar, this is kind of silly. But they were trying to shoot this scene. I didn't see this scene in the video. I watched that twice. It's well worth watching. It's like a little movie. There's some little acting that goes on. All of this is really good. And so then we see a scene. Tawanda's on the phone with Toni, and Toni is asking, so you're saying that, no, they're at a lunch scene. So you're saying that Tamar's definitely not coming to your wedding? And Towanda snaps, no. So I think Tawanda's upset she can no longer gaslight Tamar to her face. We get a scene with Tamar. Tamar is saying, I vowed never to return to this show, and I did it for them. Honestly, I think she did it for the two of them that may have needed it more than anybody else, which would be Trina and Towanda. And then Tamar brings up Tracy. She says, I don't think Tracy would want this. I have to agree. I don't think that Tracy would want this. And remember, we started out the season, episode 1, and that was a low-rated episode, in my opinion. Mama E saying, Tracy would have wanted us back on TV. The fans want it, and look at good. I don't think that was Tracy. That when Tracy wanted them back, she was still able to shoot. And then they didn't bring it back until Tracy was in her last days. And I feel like filming her in a light that she wouldn't really have wanted to be seen. So then Tamar is telling Ori, the showrunner, and Towanda has not talked to me again since the last time the cameras rolled. And I'm the one that loves the camera. So I have to agree with Tamar on that. Ori's cutting his eyes at the camera. Man, I think he knows, Ori, you've ruined your own show, and I think he knows it. He said, I've never seen it this bad. I've been around y'all a long time. Because he was telling the sisters different things. He had lied to Tamar about Towanda not wanting her in Tulum. I don't know that Towanda said that. I don't know that she really wanted Tamar and Toni there to kind of take her attention, but I don't think she told Ori that. But Ori was telling Towanda one thing, Tamar another, and I think he does the same thing with Toni, with Trina, and he always thought he could get them back together, but now he might have broken this whole thing for good. So he's saying, this is bad, and Tamar saying, Tracy's not here. That's not what she would have wanted. And she mentions again, they were all mad about Ashley. And she said, I have a hard time sitting down. We're talking about everything else, and they expect me not to mention Ashley. And I did notice that in that first scene, when Tamar was shaking the cease and desist and bringing up Ashley, Toni and Trina were looking at each other, and Trina was like, this is not the forum. This is not the forum. And Toni was saying, shut up, telling Tamar literally, shut up. So I think that's what it was. They're not supposed to bring certain things to TV, and Tamar can no longer be controlled and really will say anything. And some of this stuff they don't want to have out there. And Tamar says, Towanda went below the belt. She's bringing up something from 1995. So see, when we first heard Towanda bring up, you slept with Toni's man, her ex, a couple of times, I thought it was either, let's say, Toni's ex-husband, Kerry, or her current husband, Birdman, Brian, or Toni calls him Brian. I thought it was one of them. 1995, that's somebody that probably none of us know. And I think Towanda slept with him too. And y'all, then I've heard that Towanda also may have stolen Social Security checks from Mama Evelyn. Now, I believe that. If she could steal credit cards, allegedly jump in front of a car, or whatever else is going on with Towanda, I put nothing past her. So then we get a confessional with Towanda talking about this stupid Brigerton themed bridal shower. She acts like she's 10 years old. Nobody cares about that. And then I made a note that her skin is amazing. I don't know who beats Tawanda's face, but it's always gorgeous. I guess with that bald head, she got to do something. She stopped wearing the hair hat. So then Tawanda's telling us she's disappointed that Toni will not be at the shower. And she has a feeling with Tracy not being there, it makes her feel worse because she felt like all of her sisters would be there. Of course, except Tamar. She doesn't want Tamar there. And I feel like Tracy would have taken Tamar's side, y'all, when it comes to this. I really do, even with Ashley. So Tawanda's in another confessional talking about what Tracy would have wanted. She didn't want Tracy to miss this. And I just feel like she can't speak for Tracy. She was doing that on the Ricky Smiley show the other day. She and Trina were on there. And Gary with the T. Gary was beating around the bush, being real silly. Well, what do you think? Did you miss anyone's presence there? Now, this is the wedding at this point, y'all. As we know, the other sisters went, meaning Toni, Trina. Tamar did not go. Tamar did not attend Tawanda's wedding. And Tracy, Towanda feels like would have been there and her presence was missed. So that was really terrible. That was the end of that episode, y'all. This was a hard episode to watch. I'm going to have to give it, I'll say an 8, only because the beginning scenes, of course, was the most interesting because they spent 4 episodes teasing up to it. So we finally get to see the entire scene, but it was so chaotic and crazy. You have to watch it a couple of times and then there'll still be stuff that you missed. A lot of it was provoked by Towanda. Tamar, I wish she could control herself a little more. I was surprised by Legend, y'all. I was surprised by Toni Braxton and Toni Michelle and whatever other Toni she had there. I was really shocked at how she conducted herself. I'm surprised. And the most disgusting part was Towanda trying to convince Toni to call the police and press charges against Tamar. That was kind of disgusting. The video popped up on your YouTube. Yeah, it's worth watching it. And the music is really good. I'm going to play a couple of clips, I think. CC, my moderator, CC came in. She spoke to myself. I am Damo87. Mama 59 Works. The rest of the chat. Thank you so much, CC. Anybody that is Team Replay, thank you so much, Team Replay. Don't forget to press like and then also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, I think that's either the marketing or the algorithm. P1 said it popped up. So she spoke to CC. My graphic tee. Yeah, this is on Michael Jackson Off the Wall. Thank you. I appreciate that. So that was pretty good. Okay, I actually, for some reason, I took notes on this. Maybe I was thinking about reviewing it. I'm not going to review it, but that is the end of, that's the end of that. Let me, I'll tell you a little bit of, this is Tamar's Heartbreak Retrograde, y'all, the movie, Tamar Braxton. And that's what she coded it as. Now, I will say it was shot beautifully. It did look like a movie. It looked better than a Tubi movie. Towanda, you should talk to your sister and see what she can do for you in your movies. So there's L'Oreal is in there. She has her own radio show. Tamar and Mendici start out in the kitchen scene. He's asking her, oh, how you doing? And you could tell that they're a couple. It's like, oh, I'm just doing fine. But she's smiling and texting. She's reading something on the text. And he ends up snatching her phone. And she's like, give me back my phone. Y'all, he reads this text. And the text says, excuse me, y'all, but this is what it said. I'll shift your uterus. So they start to argue. Because obviously he's her man, but he didn't send this text. And she's like, you probably wondering how I got here. Because he looked like he's going to start choking her. So then they went to a flashback. And we find out she ran into one of her old exes. And she was like on her phone in the car, and he ended up pumping her gas for her. So they start dating again, even though he's an ex. And I'll see. I mean, I've put out a couple of clips. Okay, listen to the song. Let me see if you can hear this. Wait a minute. I don't usually fall. I don't even dribble at all. But with you, I would fall forever. So the whole thing is like a music video style, y'all. It is so good. And it's probably about 5 songs. So this is her Heartbreak Retrograde song that she was EP extended play that she's supposed to put out when she was going through all that stuff with Funky Dineva. To me, this is all Tamar should be doing. The music, whatever little side stuff she wants to do. But I think I would probably cut off ties with Towanda. I think that is a poisonous woman right there. Let me see if I can get another song in here. Okay, wait a second. Gave me the real. Just a short time. I miss us being together. If I wasn't for you, what would cross your mind? Y'all, there's not a bad song on here. And all of the video scenes are like 90s R&B love videos. So if you haven't watched it, please go ahead and watch. Off the Wall was the first album I purchased with my allowance. Good memory. Really, CC? Yeah, that's my favorite era, Michael Jackson. Everybody that knows me knows my Off the Wall era is my favorite era because, I mean, it probably didn't, well, it didn't have the sales that, let's say, Thriller or later, but that is peak Michael Jackson. Just his looks, the sound, everything. I loved it so much. Finally watched a full one and 9 and 10 replay. Yes, Mama 59 Works have been in the live since the beginning. So pop your collar on that. That's my sister and one of my moderators. Let me see if I have another one. Oh, this is a song called I Feel Safer With You. That's the ex she's cheating with. And Mendices is her man in that video, so she's cheating with the ex. The ex was fine too, y'all. He looked like a young RL. Y'all remember RL from Next? He had one of those square heads, but it was like a cute square. It's really cute. And let's see. Yeah, she had about 5 songs. So I don't know where to actually buy that at yet. It's only 5 songs I would. Oh, this clip was good too. Real fast. I just want to meet you because we're about to get married. That's Vince. That's my red flag. You know, that's not real. What do you mean? That's not real. You need time. When you plant a seed, it grows into. So Vince is playing himself in that, y'all. But what I found kind of curious, you know, Mama Evelyn went on the radio and said, "Stop putting your hands on my daughter." So we found out that Vince might have been putting Tamar's head between the washer and dryer. That's what they were saying. We don't know. We don't know. But they're successful co-parenters now, doing a great job with Logan. Logan's very close to Tamar. Logan is very close to Vince. But in this scene, she's asking him kind of like, well, what do you think I should do? And he's saying he always knew it wasn't going to work out because the boyfriend had got kind of too serious too fast. Like, I got to meet you because we're going to get married. So Tamar had a couple of real life situations like that. So I liked her conversation with Vince. They're close again, y'all. They don't hold any grudges or anything that happened. And she was like, tell me the red flags. Talk to me. She said, baby daddy cousin. Vince said, I'm not your cousin. I said, Tamar is so crazy. I never thought they would be friends again, but they are. So can y'all tell that I really loved Heartbreak Retrograde? I did. It's worth watching it. And then let me see if there is one more song. Here we go. Y'all, this is so good. Okiwan is telling me who this is. One of the guys was off Beauty and Black. Oh, okay. So that must be the one I said looked like RL. All right, so that's the ex-boyfriend. Y'all, I will tell you, this is worth watching. Heartbreak Retrograde. So Tamar is a master at marketing. She's really good. I really wish all the sisters could work together, kind of get back together, because they stressing poor little Toni out. You know, Toni has her lupus situation. Now, some of it, and I'm hoping that she may use it to get out of things, like with Tawanda's Brigerton shower. And she's like, lupus, lupus, but she's working. She's also was down there at Miami in the gardens. And then she's got this tour. We've secured one of the dates. Two of the people that I attend with, one of my sisters and then one of my nieces, we're any for lifers. So we'll do 2 or 3 dates. Right now we have Greensboro, North Carolina. They have 2 North Carolina dates. We didn't pick up a Charlotte date yet, but we'll see what other ones. Usually pick 1 or 2 more cities. So the guy's off Beauty and Black. He's a good looking guy. Some of the acting left a lot to be desired. I thought Tamar was cute. Vince was kind of funny. Miss Evelyn had a scene. So Miss Evelyn had one of her Miss Evelyn Tamar scenes where she's just giving her down home advice that you would get from your mother. If you haven't watched it yet, YouTube sounds like it's really advertising it. Kiwan said it showed up in her feed. So I can testify. I've watched it at least 2 times. I'm listening to the songs. I'm probably going to watch it again. But y'all, that was pretty much it. That's the end of episode 4, the end of the review, kind of a little Heartbreak Retrograde review thrown in there as well. So I thank you all. If you're here at the end and your team replay, I appreciate you. Click the like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We had Kiwan J in the chat, who is a content creator who does a lot of great topics, a lot of reviews, but there was one today on boundaries that she was doing with another young lady, and it was really excellent. So we could all use that, just talking about boundaries. Cece's laughing. Mama said, oh yeah, Mom 59 work. She gets in here. Maybe not the first one in here, but she gets in here. This time we've had her since the beginning. So I thank you all. You are welcome anytime. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Goodbye, everybody.